What do we do first when we get there, Mom? Go for a hike?
Sure, if you want.
What about canoeing? Can we go canoeing too?
I don't see why.
What about a bike ride? No, I want to fish.
Okay.
I've never been fishing.
Honey, we can do it all.
How long does it take to get to the forest?
It's not.
Is it gonna be long?
No,
I
sweetie.
bet it takes forever.
It's not that far.
Are we there yet?
Yep, we're here.
Already? No way! Come on.
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a neighborhood park or green space near you. Also, find fun activities to do like boating and biking or camping and hiking, plus much more. It's all right in your naturehood. A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
Well, good morning, Central Texas. Welcome to Law Talk. I'm attorney Ed Laughlin. We're live today in Fredericksburg, Texas, and I hope you're having a great day there. Summer has finally arrived. I guess you'd have to agree with that. Very warm outside, but hopefully we're going to have a great day. Well, I tell you what, I had dinner last night with some folks, and I look at my phone at about 9:45 and see that the president has commuted the sentence of Roger Stone. And my first thought was, good. I'm glad for that. That was a good move. Then I thought to myself, why in the world did he do it now instead of after the election? He had plenty of time after the election. He could have done that and not caused any possible repercussions with his re-election campaign in the election in November. And but the more I thought about it, the more I thought, well, I think he's trying to send a message, and that no matter the politics of hate that's going on right now, and to be honest, it's going both ways. That he just simply was not going to allow that political game to stop him in doing what he thought was the right thing to do. He's not going to put politics in first place and delay something that should be done right away. If he had not have commuted Roger Stone's sentence, he would have been required to turn himself in here in a few days and have the potential of the problems with the coronavirus in prison, and so many people have been released from prison, both federal prisons and state prisons. Hundreds of people have been released from prison in California. We've had hundreds released in Texas. We've had hundreds of people released in most every state. And so the only real reason to put somebody like Roger Stone in prison to go ahead and do that is to make a political point. And I think that's what the State Department wanted to do, is make a particular point, because they'd already tried to allege that he was getting special favors, special treatment due to his relationship and closeness to the President of the United States. And they were trying to overcome that by being kind of hard-nosed about going ahead and sending him to the pen, having him report. So the president could have easily have waited, like many presidents have done. As a matter of fact, I did a little bit of a research on that, and guess which president has granted clemency to the most people while he was president of the United States. We have a lot of presidents. That the president comes in number one in that ranking is Barack Obama. He granted clemency to 1,927 individuals. A figure that includes 1,715 commutations, which is what the president did with Roger Stone, and 212 pardons. Now, that's the highest total for any president since Harry S. Truman, who granted clemency to 2,044 people, including 1,913 pardons and 118 commutations and 13 remissions during his almost 8 years in the office. Now, let me explain that a little bit so you can understand it a little bit better. These different definitions. Clemency refers to multiple forms of presidential mercy. The two most common are commutations, which completely or partially reduce prison sentences for those that are already in prison, or maybe they're on community supervision, that's probation, and pardons, which forgive past crimes and restore civil rights. Now, there's two less common forms, are remissions. Now, a remission reduces financial penalties associated with convictions, and respites, which are temporary reprieves that are usually granted to inmates for medical reasons. Now, as you might know, the Department of Justice does keep statistics on all of these things, so you can follow that, look that up, and things like that. There were a lot of clemency actions proclaimed by executive order during the Ford and Jimmy Carter administrations that forgave, for example, the thousands of Vietnam-era draft dodgers that left the country or just refused to serve, or refused to report. But President Obama was particularly active in granting clemency later in his tenure. In the 2016 year, which ended September 30th of 2016, he granted clemency 589 times, which included 583 commutations and 6 pardons. And again, that was the most of any president in any fiscal year since 1920, when Woodrow Wilson issued 341 commutations, 198 pardons, 57 respites, and 43 remissions, for a total of 639 acts. So basically, Obama tripled the highest amount prior to him being in office. Now, so there's going to be a lot of talk about the president's commutation of Roger Stone's sentence. So I thought it'd be important to make sure people look at this in a historical way, and make sure that people understand that the president of the United States has an absolute right to do this. This is one of the powers of the office. And presidents do get a lot of requests for clemency, a lot of requests for commutation. You remember earlier, either this year or last year, I believe, President Trump granted a commutation to a woman that had been selling drugs, either near a school or around a school, that Kim Kardashian had brought to his attention. And so that was another example of what the president had done. All right, we got music going on. That means I need to take a break, so we'll do that. We'll be right back with more. You're listening to Law Talk.
The Divorce attorney Ed Laughlin.
Is your marriage on the rocks? Have you been wanting to get a divorce but just haven't found an attorney that you can afford? Well, your search for an affordable attorney is finally over. I'm attorney Ed Laughlin, and I've been helping Texans get fast, inexpensive, hassle-free divorces for 25 years. I offer reasonable fees and always allow my clients to pay out their fees in payments that they can afford. Call me today at 773-8399 or toll-free 1-800-492-2589 to schedule a free confidential appointment to get started. The first visit is always free.
What are you waiting for? Call Ed Laughlin today at 1-800-492-2589 or visit Ed's website at edlaughlin.com. That's 1-800-492-2589 or online at edlaughlin.com. That's 1-800-492-2589. Let Ed help you with all your legal needs. You'll feel a whole lot better. See Ed's ad in Names and Numbers.
Aaron's Gun Shop and High Cap Adventures. If you've decided to carry a handgun for self-defense, you better know what you're doing. If you don't, you better learn fast. Not only fast, but thoroughly. Aaron's Gun Shop and High Cap Adventures fills the void between a Johnny wannabe and a person who has been properly trained in the proper handling and use of a firearm. Call me, Matt Petros, at 254-697-4721 or email me at aaronsgunshop@gmail.com and set up a class or seminar to get you started on the road to proficiency with a firearm for self-defense. Go to our website, aaronsgunshop.com, and review the High Cap Adventures page. We have seminars to cover most forms of firearms training. Call 254-697-4721 or email me at aaronsgunshop@gmail.com to get more information on how to get started with your training. The time for games is over. Reality starts now. aaronsgunshop.com.
All right, everybody in the car. Let's go.
What are we gonna do first when we get there, Mom? Go for a hike?
Sure, if you want.
What about canoeing? Can we go canoeing too?
I don't see why.
What about a bike ride? No, I want to fish.
Okay.
I've never been fishing.
Honey, we can do it all.
How long does it take to get to the forest?
It's not.
Is it gonna be long?
No, sweetie.
I bet it takes forever.
It's not that far.
Are we there yet?
Yep, we're here.
Already? No way. Come on.
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a neighborhood park or green space near you. Also, find fun activities to do like boating and biking or camping and hiking, plus much more. It's all right in your naturehood. A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
All right, welcome back, Central Texas. You're listening to Law Talk, and I'm attorney Ed Laughlin. We're live today. I'm out here in Fredericksburg, and Mr. Shane Currington is in the studio today. And Shane, why don't you tell folks how to find us on our social media sites?
Sure thing. So first of all, we are streaming live at our website, logicnation.us, as well as social media. We are on Facebook, YouTube, and Vimeo at Logic Nation Radio, Twitter and Periscope at Logic Nation USA. And if you want to call and get into the conversation with Ed, our phone number is 866-895-6442.
All right, thank you very much. And also, Shane has his own show that comes on right after this show. It's called Weekend Logic with the Professor. Is that the full exact title?
Well, it's just Weekend Logic is the title. My moniker is the Professor, though.
All right. Well, anyway, and so I'm assuming you're going to be talking about Roger Stone and COVID-19, possibly. What are some of the things you're going to be talking about today?
Oh, of course. Roger Stone was the big headline last night, and as can be expected, all the Democrats are going absolutely bonkers over it. The Biden campaign is labeling it an abuse of power, even though Trump's authority is absolute in this respect. But we have other things going on. Whitmer has tightened the face mask, on businesses, so to speak. And then we have the St. Louis couple that went out on their front lawn to defend their property. Well, guess what? The police is cracking down on them, and they've seized the rifle based on a search warrant. So we'll be talking about all that coming up on Weekend Logic.
All right. Very, very interesting. And by the way, we are going to be talking about some other things. I'm not finished with Roger Stone. I'm going to talk about that some more in just a second. But I'm going to be talking about the Americans with Disabilities Act today and some of the do's and don'ts in regard to that, including what landlords can do, what landlords cannot do when renting a property to someone, and what someone that has a disability, what they're able to do and what they're not able to do, and if they violate that, what kind of punishments are out there. Then specifically, we're going to talk about the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, in regard to face mask laws with COVID-19. And there's been a lot on social media about that, if you are on social media. And so I'm going to kind of try to clean some of that up a little bit so people can understand exactly truly what the law is and not what, maybe what you just read on the social media, and therefore you just keep repeating whatever's there instead of actually trying to determine what is in fact the truth and what's not the truth. So we'll be talking about all of that here a little bit later in the show. You'll want to stay tuned. And again, as Shane said, we do have this is a call-in show. You can call in and ask a question. You can make a comment. If you'd like, the number is 1-866-895-6442. And we can talk, and you can air out whatever question or complaint you may have at that number. So anyway, we're talking about Roger Stone's sentence. And last night, again, very big surprise to me. I thought there was a 50% chance he might commute his sentence or pardon him. And a pardon's a different thing than a commutation of a sentence. But I kind of thought he might do that, but I did not expect it until after the election. And so that just shows to me, even though I've been a Trump fan since he first came down the escalators, when he announced he was running for president, he is still an enigma to me, somebody that surprises me literally on a daily basis. And for those of you out there that are thinking, well, gosh, Ed just, everything Trump does, Ed loves. And I've got to tell you, that is not the case. I do enjoy a lot of the president's tweets, I'll have to admit. I love the fact that he loves to jab his opponents. I love the fact that he is a counter puncher. When someone punches him, he punches back. What I do not like is what I will term some of the more mean-spirited types of comments. If he, you remember when he kind of made fun of the person that had, I think, cerebral palsy or something, that was a reporter, and there's a video of that on YouTube. Unfortunately, you can Google that and find it very easily. I didn't really like that. I don't like it when the president makes fun of someone's facial features or the amount of weight that person carries on their body. I just think, I tell you what I don't like, and this doesn't have anything to do with Trump necessarily, but do you have those Facebook friends that when you try to get into a conversation about politics or some issue, let's pick an issue. It could be anything. It could be abortion. It could be the death penalty. It could be other types of issues that when you try to, in a logical way, discuss it and express your views in regard to it, the only way that they can discuss it is with put down statements. Put down politics is what I call it. Don Rickles made a career out of put down comedy, and he was trying to be funny with it, and we've all seen Don Rickles on the Johnny Carson show or whatever show he was on. But I've got a Facebook friend that's just the way he engages. If I say something on Facebook and he disagrees with me, he will say, well, that's the most illogical, stupid, ignorant thing I've ever heard of. What kind of a law school did you go to? I would expect something more intelligent and not as ignorant from an attorney. And he does that with everybody. So it's not that I'm super sensitive just to me by myself, but it's that he does that with everybody. And instead of being able to say, well, okay, I do disagree with you, and here are the 4 reasons why, and 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, 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 boom. Instead, he will basically denigrate your character. And for me, that's just not something that that's not the way to disagree with somebody. You can sit down, have a meal with someone, talk about the death penalty without it getting into a screaming and yelling fight. And that's just the way I feel about that. So, all right, we're going to do at least one more segment on Roger Stone and Trump's commutation when we get back. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. You're listening to Law Talk.
Bankruptcy attorney Ed Laughlin.
I really hate to see families suffer, especially when there's something they can do. If you have too many bills to pay, the truth is that filing bankruptcy may be the best thing you ever do. I'm not just saying it. Let me prove it to you. That's why I offer a free initial consultation. Call me, because you shouldn't just have to sit there and worry.
Call 1-800-492-2589. The phone call is free, and so is the appointment. You're going to feel a whole lot better.
Art Coons, the owner of A&C Firearms in Heidenhammer, Texas, is an avid gun enthusiast and enjoys helping all of his customers to find the gun that's perfect for them. With a large selection of pistols, rifles, and shotguns, finding the right gun becomes easy. Go to A&C Firearms, located at 5819 U.S. Highway 190 in Heidenhammer, or call them 254-983-4417. Pistols, rifles, shotguns, ammo, knives, and a whole lot more. A&C Firearms, 254-983-4417.
Here at the Logic Nation, we often encourage you to be logical. Now, I've got 2 more great words to live by. Get supplied. With Studio L as a center point, Smith Supply will provide you with everything to clean anything and deliver it on time within 150 miles. That means we can deliver cleaning supplies to any facility, any business, including hotels and motels, even industries and factories, anywhere in the Killeen, Temple, Fort Hood Metro, Waco, and Austin. No matter where you are, we can ship to your order. We also provide janitorial services and building maintenance in some areas, and our Temple showroom and our online catalog are open to the public. We're here to save you money and get your supplies to you on time, every time. So, get supplied. Since 1961, we're Smith Supply, 254-773-3592, and online at smithsupply.com.
Some knowledge belongs to us and us alone. The way our girlfriends walk, the way they talk, the way they touch their hair. We hold details that only a sister can know about her girls. But what about our other girls? The ones that we carry with us every day. Can we describe them when everything's right? Can we feel when something's wrong? Our bond with our sister girls gives life. But knowing your breasts can save it. Go to knowyourgirls.org for the facts you need on breast health. That's knowyourgirls.org. Brought to you by Susan G. Coleman and the Ad Council.
Sweet strawberry icing. You were strolling along in Goodwill when just past that mid-century side table and denim jacket you spotted them, nestled in their display case. Miniature donut earrings. Oh, yes! Yes! Your favorite half-breakfast pastry, half-all-day dessert food, made into your favorite form of ear candy. Oh, my. Those bejeweled sprinkles have satisfied some unknown hunger within you. Shh, do you smell that? That's the sugary scent of shopping success. For this is Goodwill. And with every item you buy, you fund local job training and more. So go forth. Bring home those donut earrings. And bring home so much good to your community. Goodwill. Bring good home. Brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Wake up and text. Text and eat. Text and catch the bus. Text and miss your stop. Wait. Text and be late to work. Sorry, I'm late. Text and work. Text and pretend to work. Text and act surprised when someone calls you out for not working. Who, me? Text and meet up with a friend you haven't seen in forever.
Hi.
Oh, hey. Text and complain that they're on their phone the whole time. Text and listen to them complain that you're on your phone the whole time. Text and whatever. But when you get behind the wheel, give your phone to a passenger. Put it in the glove box. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
All right, welcome back, Central Texas. You're listening to Law Talk, and I'm attorney Ed Laughlin. I tell you what, I feel like I'm kind of doing the show with one arm kind of tied behind my back because I tell you, Shane, I am computer challenged today, and I've got this computer. By the way, I have ordered a new Apple computer.
Oh, good.
So just putting you on notice, it's on order. I kind of juiced it up a little bit, and so it's not going to be here till like the 17th or the 20th or something.
Okay.
But I ordered a week ago, so it's several weeks off. And with the Apple stores not open anymore right now due to COVID, it's going to be here a while. So I've got this computer screen that I've got to work with that I cannot work well with, I will say. It's very difficult to work with. And then now, and I haven't shown this to you yet because I haven't seen you, but this week my iPhone, and I don't know those of you out there in Radio Land are having this problem with your iPhone, has a green screen.
What?
A green line that goes all the way down from the top of the phone to the bottom of the phone. It's not very wide. It's not very wide, so it you can pretty much read everything, but it is extremely bright. and so it's hard to read your iPhone.
Ed, why do you keep breaking your devices?
I tell you what, I've looked this up, to see if I could get a repair on on, and it seems like a lot of people have had this. This is a mechanical issue, device issue, not a software issue. And they say you've got to take it into the Apple store to get fixed.
Yeah.
It's not covered under warranty. And but then the stores are all closed. And so I'm stuck with this dumb phone, and I don't want to take it. You know, there are places out there, aftermarket places, that are out there that'll repair phones for you and things like that. But I've had really, really bad experience with some of those. I took a phone one time that had a cracked screen on it, and they were going to put a new glass screen on it, and they made it to where it was totally unusable.
What?
And I just had to go and buy another phone. I had no other choice. Now that company is out of business, I think now. Do you have one that you recommend, Shane, that kind of knows what they're doing in the Central Texas area?
Well, isn't it lucky for you? I know people in high places. So, yes, I can get that fixed for you.
All right. Well, I do definitely need it fixed desperately, and I can see you and talk to you about it maybe Monday. We'll discuss some of that. So,
okay.
Well, anyways, so we're talking about Roger Stone, right? And I mean, you got to admit the guy's a little strange, strange little friend of President Trump's, but he was a staunch defender of the president, and the president does like that. Matter of fact, that's one of the most important things for the president and any president. Obama liked that. George W. Bush liked that. Every president that I can remember valued that in someone that advises them that they're not going to waver when the times get tough, right? And so when the president announced last night, that the president had signed an executive grant of clemency, commuting what he called the unjust sentence of Roger Stone, just days before his long-time political operative was slated to report to prison, to serve, by the way, more than 3 years on charges that stem from former special prosecutor Robert Mueller's investigation. I think none of us were too terribly surprised that was coming. Again, my only surprise was the timing of it. And White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany released a statement last night that said the president made that decision to commute Stone's sentence in light of the facts and circumstances surrounding Stone's unfair prosecution, arrest, and trial, and that Roger Stone was, and I quote, a victim of the Russia hoax that the left and its allies in the media perpetuated for years in an attempt to undermine the Trump presidency. And I do agree with that the left has been on a mission, and it's just been one thing right after the other. And it's no surprise that this his handling of the coronavirus outbreak has become another hot topic for the left. And as soon as this is over, which I do believe will probably be over around November the 3rd, there'll be another topic that pops up should the president be reelected president. So, and they're going to continue with this to try to obstruct what he is wanting to do for the country. And it just, to me, it's, you know, the charges that were leveled against him, I'm talking about Roger Stone, were just ludicrous. And Stone had a long time career in politics, almost 50 years as a consultant for high-profile Republican politicians, including Ronald Reagan, Senator Bob Dole, many, many others. And also that he was a very outspoken supporter for President Donald Trump and very much opposed to Hillary Rodham Clinton. And when you're like that out there, that just puts a big bullseye on you. And there's no other way to explain it but that. And, the whole process, I don't know if you remember how he was arrested. They got him up at the crack of dawn, like 40 different SWAT teams, individuals came in and with guns ablazing to arrest him. A 67-year-old man with many, many medical conditions who had never, ever been convicted of another crime. And yet they used dozens and dozens of FBI agents with automatic weapons, tactical equipment, armored vehicles, and an amphibious unit to execute that pre-dawn raid on his home, where he was with his wife of many years. It was just overkill. It was all for publicity. And guess who happened to be there with them when they made this arrest and assault on Stone's home? A CNN reporter. Let that sink in a second. And if Stone had been sent to prison, he would have been put at a serious medical risk due to his many illnesses and COVID-19. And again, he was set to go to prison July the 14th, so this next week. He was going to serve 40 months. And anyway, his convictions were, just so you don't know, he was convicted of 7 counts of obstruction, witness tampering, making false statements to Congress. However, Stone was in the process of appealing his charges and convictions. As a matter of fact, he has said he is going to continue with his appeals to be able to overturn his sentence so that all of his rights as an American would be restored back to him. And I do wish him well in that regard. And I guess time will tell what may happen in regard to that. So Stone has the right, just like every other American, to a fair trial and every opportunity to vindicate himself before the courts. And he's going to move forward with that to fight this unfair prosecution, unfair arrest and trial. And all the president has done is simply commuted the prison sentence that he was due to start July the 14th. He's still a convicted felon until he's able to overturn those sentences. All right, I think that's enough of Roger Stone. When we get back, we're going to talk about the Americans with Disabilities Act in regard to landlords and also face masks. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. You're listening to Law Talk.
DWI and criminal defense attorney Ed Laughlin.
Just because you or a loved one has been pulled over or arrested for DWI does not mean you're guilty of DWI. I'm attorney Ed Laughlin, and to be arrested and charged with DWI, the officer has to only have probable cause that you're intoxicated. It's only the officer's opinion. However, to be convicted of DWI, your guilt must be proven beyond a reasonable doubt, which is a much stricter burden. If you have been arrested for DWI or any other offense and want an attorney who will rigorously defend you, call me at 1-800-492-2589 or log on to my website at edlaughlin.com. Over the past 25 years as an attorney, I've been both a prosecutor and now a defense attorney. You need an experienced attorney who will work hard to get you the justice that you deserve.
What are you waiting for? Call Ed now at 1-800-492-2589 to schedule a free confidential appointment or visit Ed's website at edlaughlin.com. First visit is always free. You're going to feel a whole lot better. See Ed's ad and names and numbers.
Quick Wrench Automotive, your one-stop auto shop, family-owned and operated at 1402 North 3rd Street in Temple. Why go to another dealer? Quick Wrench Automotive, a full-service preventive maintenance and automotive repair center, offers a 2-year, 24,000-mile warranty on most repairs nationwide, which also includes complimentary roadside assistance. Quick Wrench also offers the best price for oil changes around at $17.95 plus tax, which includes 5 quarts of oil, new oil filter, washer fluid, and complimentary 23-point inspection. Other great deals are available on our Facebook page as well as our website, QuickWrenchAutomotive.com. Give us a call Monday through Friday at 254-935-2145 to speak with an ASE certified technician. Quick Wrench Automotive, your one-stop shop for all your automotive needs.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Sweet strawberry icing. You were strolling along in Goodwill when just past that mid-century side table and denim jacket you spotted them, nestled in their display case. Miniature donut earrings. Oh, yes! Yes! Your favorite half-breakfast pastry, half-all-day dessert food, made into your favorite form of ear candy. Oh, my. Those bejeweled sprinkles have satisfied some unknown hunger within you. Shh, do you smell that? That's the sugary scent of shopping success. For this is Goodwill. And with every item you buy, you fund local job training and more. So go forth. Bring home those donut earrings. And bring home so much good to your community. Goodwill. Bring good home. Brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Central Texas. You're listening to Law Talk, and I'm attorney Ed Laughlin. Number to call if you'd like to call in, ask a question, make a comment, 1-866-895-6442. We're going to talk about the Americans with Disabilities Act here in a few minutes, and I may do it for the next hour if I have enough information here for you, also depending on callers that may call in. So 1-866-895-6442. This law has been around for quite some time, so it's not something that's brand new, and so people sometimes don't realize, that this is a law that's been around many, many, many years, but it's most recently being talked about in regard to the requirement of wearing face masks around, and due to the COVID-19 virus and some of the orders and things that have been put out by mayors, county judges, our governor, other governors. And so I thought I would kind of clear some of that up a little bit, because there is a lot of what I would term misinformation out there on social media, and you've got to be careful that you don't just continuously repeat what's out there on social media. Also, I do want to point something out that may be a little controversial, especially to some of my friends and some of the people that know me, and in regard to use of a face mask. I don't have a problem with requiring face masks if it's going to make it to where this virus is not spread. My biggest problem with face masks are they are not it's not an order that is across the board, and there's way too many loopholes and times when you can and cannot or should be required to use a face mask. And but in general, I am for anything that can stop the spread of this virus, because the last thing I want, and I hope the last thing you want, in addition to a loved one or family member getting the disease, the illness, and succumbing to the illness, is I also do not want to shut down business in the great state of Texas and the United States. Business people have already suffered severely due to this illness. We've already had one shutdown here in the great state of Texas, and I am very, very concerned that the governor of our state is simply setting us up and letting us know that another shutdown is about to happen. Now, I'm not going to predict it because I don't really know what's going to happen. But I will tell you, I have a very strong feeling that either Monday or one day this next week, the governor is going to come out and say, look, not enough people are wearing these masks. Where this disease, this illness is spreading. More people are going to the hospital. More people are dying of COVID-19, and therefore I am going to shut down restaurants to only pick up only. I'm going to restrict other businesses that have been open up until now, like hair salons and other nail salons and other businesses that are not essential businesses under some of the guidelines that the governor has put out and other governors have put out. Now, so for that reason, I would urge you out there, if you're listening to my voice, number one, you need to socially distance. Just stay away, 6 feet away or more from people. Okay? If you don't live with them, stay away from them. You can sit at a table. I'm sitting at a table where I am right now, and there's a chair in front of me that's 6 feet away from me. You can sit at a table and have a conversation, eat a meal with them, drink a beer with them, have a glass of wine, have a glass of tea, and not infect those folks. Now, if you're going to be closer, I would recommend wearing a mask. Now, a lot of the laws right now in Texas, if you go inside a restaurant right now, you're ordered to wear a mask when you walk in, and as you walk to your table, and then when you get to your table, you're allowed to take your mask off and keep it off. Okay? So the third part of protecting yourself and protecting other people from the spread of COVID-19 is washing your hands, good hygiene. And I will say I have been very, very staunch in regard to that. I've been washing my hands prior to each and every client that comes in to see me. I wash them after the client leaves. I have not been wearing masks when I have a meeting with a client for a couple of reasons. But the biggest reason is I'm more than 6 feet away from them. Matter of fact, I've positioned the chairs in my office to where I am about 8 feet from my clients. And yes, we do exchange papers, and they will hand me papers. I will take the papers and read them and hand them back. But when I'm finished with that particular client, I go wash my hands. And so I am clean and ready to see the next client. So, again, I would urge all of you out there to just be very, very careful. Wear some sort of a mask. It doesn't have to be something you buy. It could be a scarf. It could be a handkerchief, some sort of a loose covering. You can take an old T-shirt and fix it to where you have some sort of a covering on your face, and I think that would be adequate to slow the spread. And is this scientific? No, not necessarily. the science on this has been changing over and over and over. The Dr. Fauci, at one point said masks were not necessary. Then they became recommended, and then now all of a sudden they are the law. And so I don't think their science in regard to this has changed any in the last 4 months. So the fact that they've gone to not necessary to required in a span of about 4 months, I don't believe has anything to do with the science in regard to that. I think it has to do with just the politics of it. And so again, COVID-19 and this pandemic has changed our world in many, many ways. People with disabilities, people with chronic health conditions like heart disease, lung disease, diabetes, people that are over the age of 60 are at a higher risk of conditions like heart disease, lung disease, and they're more likely to become infected and also more likely to become seriously ill. And if you look at the statistics, most of the people that have become seriously ill have been in their 70s and up. Now, are younger people getting infected? Yes. Are people that are younger becoming seriously ill? Absolutely. Are there some younger people that are dying? Absolutely. That is occurring. And so, but safety measures like social distancing, stay-at-home orders, and that's another thing. You don't, just because you're not ordered to stay at home doesn't mean you don't have to stay. You can stay at home. You don't have to go somewhere if you don't want to. You don't have to make a trip every single day to Walmart. Pick and choose what you're going to get. You can order curbside at Walmart. I'm assuming everybody knows that. You can order curbside. You don't even have to go in the building. You can order it online, and they'll pick it all up. They'll schedule a time for you to go and pick it up, and you just drive up, you park, you call them, say, I'm here, and they'll deliver it to you. Also, Walmart.com will deliver it straight to your home if you would like, as will H-E-B and some of the other places. So, anyway, so we're talking about the ADA and face mask policies. I'll discuss more about that when I get back, so stay tuned. We'll be right back. You're listening to Law Talk.
I spend a lot of time in the garage, but even more time in the rain, sleet, and mud. In 95, I helped tow your moving trailer. In 05, I helped you get out of a ditch. Yeah, I know I'm a bit rusty, and sadly in 09, it was sparks from me, your handy chains, dragging behind your truck that accidentally started a wildfire.
Sparks from dragging chains can start a wildfire. Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Sweet strawberry icing. You were strolling along in Goodwill when just past that mid-century side table and denim jacket you spotted them, nestled in their display case. Miniature donut earrings. Oh, yes! Yes! Your favorite half-breakfast pastry, half-all-day dessert food, made into your favorite form of ear candy. Oh, my. Those bejeweled sprinkles have satisfied some unknown hunger within you. Shh. Do you smell that? That's the sugary scent of shopping success. For this is Goodwill. And with every item you buy, you fund local job training and more. So go forth. Bring home those donut earrings. And bring home so much good to your community. Goodwill. Bring good home. Brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
precious cowboys, such as your friend will never be welcome here. High in the custard dome. Into the distance, a ribbon of black, stretched to the point of no turning back. Flight of fancy on a windswept field, standing alone, my senses reel. Fatal attraction is holding me fast. How can I escape its irresistible grasp? Can't keep my eyes from the circling sky. Tongue-tied and twisted, just an earthbound history. Ice is forming on the tips of my wings. Unheeded warnings, I thought of everything. No navigator to find my way home. Unladen, empty, and turned to stone. A sole intention, slowly to fly. Condition grounded, determined to try. Can't keep my eyes from the circling skies. Tongue-tied and twisted, just an earthbound listening
Mixtures rich. Propellers flaps set 10 degrees. Gauges consumption check. Sound flaps wipers recheck. Strobes on. Radio echo ready for departure. Runway at the
Hey y'all, Jeff Foxworthy here. Now, if you've ever found yourself repeating the same thing over and over for 75 years, you might be Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
That's why I'm filling in for Smokey to switch things up, because there's a lot more to say. And I should know because my grandfather was a firefighter. And one of the things he taught me is that the people that love the outdoors the most are often the ones accidentally starting wildfires, which means always BYOB. No, bring your own bucket to the campfire. And be extra careful with things like burning yard trimmings. Don't just walk away, or chances are you might be starting a wildfire. So for the love of the outdoors, go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Well, welcome back, Central Texas. You're listening to the second hour of Law Talk, and I'm attorney Ed Laughlin. We're live today. I'm in beautiful Fredericksburg, Texas, and I'm up here in the lobby at the Windcrest Inn and Suites. Been watching people eat some breakfast, and I hope they enjoyed their breakfast here today. And lots of things to do here in Fredericksburg, even though we're in the middle of this coronavirus. The wineries are open. You can go and grab a bottle of wine and sit down outside and enjoy that bottle. They provide glasses for you, or you can bring your own if you're concerned about, COVID being on one of the glasses or something, and you can enjoy that glass of wine. The restaurants are all open for indoor and outdoor dining, and a lot of the restaurants here have a lot of dining capabilities. So just urge you to come. Enchanted Rock's open. All the state parks are open, as a matter of fact, as far as that goes. And so hope you come. And, some people, you can't go a long ways off in right now. You can't go take a trip to Florida. You can't take a trip to New Mexico without quarantining, or California. I guess Disneyland or Disney World was about to open today. I haven't heard if they got open. But anyway, you just can't do as many of the things as you used to, but you can take a short 2-hour drive, get to this beautiful German community, have some great German food, drink a beer, have a glass of wine, shop in some of the iconic shops that they have here in Fredericksburg, and just have a great, great time. Listen to some live music that we've got in about 10 different restaurants here, and just have a great time. And with that, our phone number to call, by the way, 1-866-895-6442. And Shane's kind of holding things down there in Temple in the studio. Shane, how are things going on there? And what are you about to talk about on Weekend Logic today?
Okay, well, Weekend Logic comes on at 10 a.m. Right after Law Talk, and we will be streaming live on logicnation.us, as well as social media, Facebook, YouTube, and Vimeo, Twitter, and Periscope. And basically what we're going to be talking about is what's going on in the news. We'll be talking a little bit about Roger Stone's ordeal and how the Democrats are absolutely going crazy. And then we'll be spending a considerable amount of time on the Biden-Sanders Unity Task Force recommendations. For those of you who don't know, they put out a 110 page for recommendations as far as the environment, as far as the economy, response to the COVID virus, education, the whole ball of wax. And of course, it is left-leaning and progressive. Imagine that. So we'll be talking about all that coming up on Weekend Logic at 10 a.m.
All right, sounds good. And I know, have you been able to look and see? I know you're a fan of Disney World. Have you been able to see? Did they actually get open today?
They have not opened just yet. I expect them to because they announced it, but they have not just yet.
All right. Well, I can't imagine what a monumental effort would have to take place to be able to open up that huge complex.
Honestly, I don't think they're going to be able to. Once everything is said and done, I think they will not be able to overcome the obstacles of, because Disney's progressive and liberal in and of itself. So they go with the whole storyline of you have to have masks, you have to have 6-foot distancing. Well, if anyone's been to Disney World, they pack you in like sardines. You can't go down the main street in Enchanted Kingdom without, bumping into someone, without being shoulder to shoulder. So I seriously doubt they're going to be able to overcome all the obstacles involved with, social distancing and wearing masks and all that stuff.
Well, I just wish they could get back open. I know a lot of people love that. We've been a couple of times, and certainly did enjoy our time there. And it's a great place to get away, and good food, a lot of good rides, attractions. I like Epcot quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of interesting. And have you been to any of the other parks there other than Epcot and Disney World?
Oh, yeah. I've been all over Disney World. my wife and I actually got married at Disney. So we have, all the souvenirs and all that stuff. And it's a great place. It is truly magical. If you have ever been there, it is a world-class operation as far as customer service and things like that. And hotel-wise and all that stuff. It is a world-class organization. If I would be much more gung-ho on Disney if they didn't go with all the liberal, ideology that goes with it. So, but it is a great organization as far as business-wise and as far as customer service. It is absolutely great.
Yeah. Well, and I just tried to Google about them reopening and can't seem to find that. So I guess for whatever the reason, they're not reopening, at least not right now. So very, very interesting. Well, thank you for that information, sir.
You're welcome.
All right, so we're going to move on. We're going to talk about the Americans with Disabilities Act. Specifically, right now we're going to talk about how it applies to the face mask policies. And then a little later, we're going to talk about how the face mask policies apply to other things. We're going to talk about the Americans with Disability Act, how that applies to landlords and apartment complexes, hotels, motels, and things like that. So you'll want to try to stay tuned and listen into some of that. Because, for a while there was an order by the Supreme Court that you could not file an eviction and proceed with an eviction if someone did not pay their rent because, for whatever reason, if they were impacted, lost their job or whatever, you could not evict. Well, now you can. You can proceed to evict, and there's some new law changes on that. And I want to make sure the landlords out there do, in fact, know kind of the laws in regard to that. So, but anyway, this pandemic has changed our world so many different ways. People with disabilities, people with chronic health conditions like heart disease, lung disease, diabetes, people that are over the age of 60, they're all at a higher risk of becoming infected and more likely to become seriously ill if they get that. Well, my goodness, we're already out of time for this segment. We'll move forward with this a little faster when we get back from this break, so stay tuned. We'll be right back. You're listening to Law Talk.
Divorce attorney Ed Laughlin.
Is your marriage on the rocks? Have you been wanting to get a divorce but just haven't found an attorney that you can afford? Well, your search for an affordable attorney is finally over. I'm attorney Ed Laughlin, and I've been helping Texans get fast, inexpensive, hassle-free divorces for 25 years. I offer reasonable fees and always allow my clients to pay out their fees in payments that they can afford. Call me today at 773-8399 or toll-free 1-800-492-2589 to schedule a free confidential appointment to get started. The first visit is always free.
What are you waiting for? Call Ed Laughlin today at 1-800-492-2589 or visit Ed's website at edlaughlin.com. That's 1-800-492-2589 or online at edlaughlin.com. That's 1-800-492-2589. Let Ed help you with all your legal needs. You'll feel a whole lot better. See Ed's ad in names and numbers.
Aaron's Gun Shop and High Cap Adventures. If you've decided to carry a handgun for self-defense, you better know what you're doing. If you don't, you better learn fast. Not only fast, but thoroughly. Aaron's Gun Shop and High Cap Adventures fills the void between a Johnny wannabe and a person who has been properly trained in the proper handling and use of a firearm. Call me, Matt Petros, at 254-697-4721 or email me at aaronsgunshop@gmail.com and set up a class or seminar to get you started on the road to proficiency with a firearm for self-defense. Go to our website, aaronsgunshop.com, and review the High Cap Adventures page. We have seminars to cover most forms of firearms training. Call 254-697-4721 or email me at aaronsgunshop@gmail.com to get more information on how to get started with your training. The time for games is over. Reality starts now. aaronsgunshop.com.
Wake up and text. Text and eat. Text and catch the bus. Text and miss your stop. Wait. Text and be late to work. Sorry, I'm late. Text and work. Text and pretend to work. Text and act surprised when someone calls you out for not working. Who, me? Text and meet up with a friend you haven't seen in forever.
Hi.
Oh, hey. Text and complain that they're on their phone the whole time. Text and listen to them complain that you're on your phone the whole time. Text and whatever. But when you get behind the wheel, give your phone to a passenger. Put it in the glove box. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.3333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
All right, welcome back, Central Texas. You're listening to Law Talk, and I'm attorney Ed Laughlin. We're live today, just like we are every Saturday morning. Hope you're listening. Hope you're enjoying the show today. Don't forget, Shane Kernighan will be on right after this with Weekend Logic, and you can listen to it on our social media pages. And I'll have Shane come on in a little bit, and we'll tell you a little bit more about all those pages in just a minute. But we're talking about the Americans with Disability Act and the face mask policies, and that's the reason. If you notice the governor's and the mayor's orders, you notice that there was wiggle room in these orders in regard to face masks. And the reason is because of this law that was passed, the Americans with Disability Act, and it safeguards people that have disabilities that they have to be accommodated by the public in a lot of different areas, renting to them, whether it's a long-term apartment or a rental room in a hotel, and also in regard to things like these masks. And even though the safety measures of social distancing and staying at home and wearing the mask or a cloth face covering are now part of our daily lives, it is an important way to slow the spread of COVID-19. However, wearing a face mask may be difficult for some people with a disability, and there's a lot of state and local government agencies or private businesses that do want the use of a face mask and may have questions and concerns. And so what I'm going to talk about here in a minute is going to answer some of the questions about this issue of when you should require a face mask, when you're allowed to require a face mask, and reasons why a person with a disability might not be able to wear a face mask, and their legal rights under the Americans with Disabilities Act. So can a state or a local government agency or business require a customer to wear a face mask? Well, as you know, WHO, the World Health Organization, in March of 2020, declared COVID as a pandemic. And the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, noted that many people who don't even have symptoms of COVID can spread the virus to other people. And because it takes 4 to 14 days for someone to show symptoms, they also may infect others without even knowing it. And that means the virus can be shared between people who are close to each other and they don't even know that they're doing that. For example, people who are speaking, coughing, sneezing may spread the virus even if they do not have symptoms. And that's why the CDC has recommended that people wear a face mask. So that at least people over the age of 2 wear a face mask in public, where it can be hard to maintain a safe distance, like say 6 feet apart from others. And then also the CDC, with their guidance, a business and a government agency can require customers to wear a face mask to limit the spread of COVID-19. But there are reasons that people may not be able to wear a face mask. And the CDC specifically said in their orders, in their recommendations, that a person who has trouble breathing, is unconscious, incapacitated, or otherwise unable to remove the face mask without assistance should not be required. A face mask or cloth covering should not be required to wear those. Now, so some examples. Let me give you some examples of some people with a disability who might not be able to wear a face mask. Someone that has asthma, if they have COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or other respiratory disability, may not be able to wear a face mask because of difficulty in or impaired breathing. People with respiratory disabilities should consult their own doctor, medical professional, for advice about using a face mask. And if you have trouble, the CDC has stated that you should not wear a face mask. Also, people with PTSD, severe anxiety, or claustrophobia may feel afraid or terrified when wearing a face mask. And those people may not be able to stay calm or function when wearing a face mask. People with autism, they're sensitive to touch and texture. Covering their nose and mouth with fabric can cause sensory overload, feelings of panic, and extreme anxiety. A person who has cerebral palsy may have a difficulty moving the small muscles in the hands, wrists, or fingers. And due to their limited mobility, they may not be able to tie the strings or put the elastic loops of a face mask over their ears. That would mean they would have a difficulty in putting on and removing a face mask without assistance. Also, a person who uses mouth control devices, such as the sip and puff devices they use to operate a wheelchair, or assistive technology, or use their mouth or tongue to use assistive ventilators, are unable to wear a mask. So if a person that is unable to wear a mask due to a disability, do you still have to allow them in your business or your governmental agency? And the answer is the Americans with Disability Act does specifically have rules that you must accommodate these type of people. Now, there are not any specific rules that would address face masks in general, but you are required to consider reasonable modifications. Matter of fact, the order says you must, private businesses and governmental agencies must consider reasonable modifications to your face mask policy so that the person with the disability can participate in programs offered or goods and services that are provided. A reasonable modification might mean changing your policy a little bit, allow them to come in without a mask. And that's why the governor and many agencies have made it available that if you can't wear one, you just have to tell the business owner you can't wear a mask, and you're allowed to go in. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're listening to Law Talk.
Bankruptcy attorney Ed Laughlin.
I really hate to see families suffer, especially when there's something they can do. If you have too many bills to pay, the truth is that filing bankruptcy may be the best thing you ever do. I'm not just saying it, let me prove it to you. That's why I offer a free initial consultation. Call me, because you shouldn't just have to sit there and worry.
Call 1-800-492-2589. The phone call is free, and so is the appointment. You're going to feel a whole lot better.
Art Coons, the owner of ANC Firearms in Heidenhammer, Texas, is an avid gun enthusiast and enjoys helping all of his customers to find the gun that's perfect for them. With a large selection of pistols, rifles, and shotguns, finding the right gun becomes easy. Go to ANC Firearms, located at 5819 U.S. Highway 190 in Heidenhammer, or call them 254-983-4417. Pistols, rifles, shotguns, ammo, knives, and a whole lot more. ANC Firearms, 254-983-4417.
Here at the Logic Nation, we often encourage you to be logical. Now, I've got two more great words to live by. Get supplied. With Studio L as a center point, Smith Supply will provide you with everything to clean anything and deliver it on time within 150 miles. That means we can deliver cleaning supplies to any facility, any business, including hotels and motels, even industries and factories, anywhere in the Killeen, Temple, Fort Hood Metro, Waco, and Austin. No matter where you are, we can ship to your order. We also provide janitorial services and building maintenance in some areas, and our Temple showroom and our online catalog are open to the public. We're here to save you money and get your supplies to you on time, every time. So, get supplied. Since 1961, we're Smith Supply, 254-773-3592, and online at smithsupply.com.
Wake up and text. Text and eat. Text and catch the bus. Text and miss your stop. Wait. Text and be late to work. Sorry, I'm late. Text and work. Text and pretend to work. Text and act surprised when someone calls you out for not working.
Who, me?
Text and meet up with a friend you haven't seen in forever.
Hi.
Oh, hey.
Text and complain that they're on their phone the whole time. Text and listen to them complain that you're on your phone the whole time. Text and whatever. But when you get behind the wheel, give your phone to a passenger. Put it in the glove box. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. I came out in the 11th grade. Nobody was embracing you. The kids were cruel. It was very difficult to be gay. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
The hard part was determining that I was going to do it, but I definitely didn't do it alone.
At age 30, with the help of her mentor, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
I have a mentor, Maria. She convinced me to continue my education and to finish what I started to get my diploma. Just never judges. She's a true role model. If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, go get it. You can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Wake up and text. Text and eat. Text and catch the bus. Text and miss your stop. Wait. Text and be late to work. Sorry, I'm late. Text and work. Text and pretend to work. Text and act surprised when someone calls you out for not working.
Who, me?
Text and meet up with a friend you haven't seen in forever.
Hi.
Oh, hey.
Text and complain that they're on their phone the whole time. Text and listen to them complain that you're on your phone the whole time. Text and whatever. But when you get behind the wheel, give your phone to a passenger. Put it in the glove box. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
All right, welcome back, Central Texas. You're listening to Law Talk, and I'm attorney Ed Laughlin. The phone number to call if you'd like to call in and ask a question, make a comment, 866-895-6442. That's 1-866-89-LOGIC. And I want to talk a little bit about the ADA, Americans with Disability Act, and in regard to service dogs or service animals. Service animals are a hotel, for example, is required to allow a service animal. If someone has a service animal, they have to allow the person in and with their animal. They cannot charge an additional fee. If your animal is a pet, then you are allowed to either require a pet fee or a pet deposit, or you can simply refuse service and not allow them to have a room if that's what your business's policies may be. Now, a service animal, I want to make sure people understand what those are. And by the way, they don't have to be certified by any organization. They don't have to go somewhere and get papers that say they are service animals. But a service animal is any kind of an animal that's individually trained to do work or perform tasks for people with disabilities. And, for example, some types of tasks would include guiding people who are blind, alerting people who are deaf, pulling a wheelchair, alerting and protecting a person who is having a seizure, reminding a person with mental illness to take prescribed medications, calming someone with PTSD during an anxiety attack. And there are other duties in regard to that. Now, and these animals are not pets. They are working animals. And because of that, you should not, when someone sees someone with a pet, they'll, talk to the dog, and, try to pet the dog and things like that, or the animal. You're not allowed to pet or talk to a service dog or animal because they are at work. They are working. And they are service animals under the ADA. And it's not, you can't treat them like a pet. Also, as a hotel owner or manager, you can't ask for proof that the person has a disability or anything. That's against the Americans with Disability Act. You can't allow a reasonable limited inquiry if it's not obvious what kind of service the animal provides. You can ask a couple of questions. Is the animal a service animal required because of a disability? And then the second question you can ask is, what work or task has the dog been trained to perform? You cannot ask about the person's disability. You cannot ask and require medical documentation. You cannot require or request some kind of identification card or training documentation for the dog or the pet or the animal. Or you can't ask for the dog or animal to demonstrate ability to perform the task. By the way, it's not necessarily dogs. A disability, a service animal can be a cat under the law, by the way. And there have been legal cases, lawsuits filed about this. It can be a dog. It can be a cat. It can be a horse. And if you saw my Facebook page last night, you saw that I posted a picture of someone on an airplane with their service horse. And airlines are required to allow you to get on their plane with your service horse. Also, the other animals that are included in this law is rabbits, service rabbits, and service domestic birds. Exotic birds cannot be used. And believe it or not, I thought that some of these potbelly pigs would be declared a service animal, but under the ADA, the Americans with Disability Act, they are not considered a service animal. And allergies or fear of dogs are not valid reasons for denying access or refusing services to people using a service animal. So if a person is allergic to dog dander, and a person who uses a service animal must spend time in the same room or facility, like a classroom or maybe at a homeless shelter or something, they both should be accommodated by assigning them, if possible, to different locations within the room or different rooms in the facility. If a person has disability, they cannot be asked to remove their service animal from the premises unless the dog is out of control and the handler does not take effective action to control it. Also, if the dog is not housebroken. By the way, if you do rent to one, they're not allowed to leave the service animal in the apartment or in the house when they leave. They have to take this service animal with them, or a hotel room, for example. While they go out and go to a winery or whatever, they're required to bring their service animal with them. And so if the animal does damage to a property, the owner is liable for damages that happen. If you are a restaurant or some place that sells or prepares food, you must allow service animals in the public areas. Even, get this, if the state or local health codes specifically prohibited them from being able to be there. So that's a kind of an interesting thing also. If you have a disability and you use a service animal, a restaurant or like a library or something cannot require you to be isolated from other patrons. They can't treat you less favorably than other patrons. They can't charge additional fees that are not charged to other patrons without service animals. They cannot If they charge a fee, for example, a hotel might charge a $25 pet fee or pet deposit. They must waive that charge if you're disabled and you have a service animal. And if the hotel normally charges guests for damage that they cause, like your animal causes damage in a hotel room or something, that customer with disability can also be charged for the damage to that. And so that's an important thing that people don't realize and don't know, but they can be required to do that. Now, in addition to dogs, like I said, miniature horses can be a service animal. Many of them have been individually trained to do work or perform tasks for people. Now, they must generally range in a certain height, from 24 to 34 inches high, measured at the shoulders, and generally must weigh between 70 and 100 pounds. And those regulations do set out 4 specific assessment factors in determining whether that miniature horse can be accommodated in a facility. Number 1, the miniature horse must be housebroken. Number 2, the miniature horse must be under control of the owner at all times. Number 3, the facility must be able to accommodate the horse's type, size, and weight. Number 4, finally, the miniature horse presence will not compromise legitimate safety requirements. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're listening to Law Talk.
DWI and criminal defense attorney Ed Laughlin.
Just because you or a loved one has been pulled over or arrested for DWI does not mean you're guilty of DWI. I'm attorney Ed Laughlin, and to be arrested and charged with DWI, the officer has to only have probable cause that you're intoxicated. It's only the officer's opinion. However, to be convicted of DWI, your guilt must be proven beyond a reasonable doubt, which is a much stricter burden. If you have been arrested for DWI or any other offense and want an attorney who will rigorously defend you, call me at 1-800-492-2589 or log on to my website at edlaughlin.com. Over the past 25 years as an attorney, I've been both a prosecutor and now a defense attorney. You need an experienced attorney who will work hard to get you the justice that you deserve.
What are you waiting for? Call Ed now at 1-800-492-2589 to schedule a free confidential appointment or visit Ed's website at edlaughlin.com. First visit is always free. You're going to feel a whole lot better. See Ed's ad and names and numbers.
Quick Wrench Automotive, your one-stop auto shop, family owned and operated at 1402 North 3rd Street in Temple. Why go to another dealer? Quick Wrench Automotive, a full-service preventive maintenance and automotive repair center, offers a 2-year, 24,000-mile warranty on most repairs nationwide, which also includes complimentary roadside assistance. Quick Wrench also offers the best price for oil changes around at $17.95 plus tax, which includes 5 quarts of oil, new oil filter, washer fluid, and complimentary 23-point inspection. Other great deals are available on our Facebook page as well as our website, QuickWrenchAutomotive.com. Give us a call Monday through Friday at 254-935-2145 to speak with an ASE-certified technician. Quick Wrench Automotive, your one-stop shop for all your automotive needs.
I spend a lot of time in the garage, but even more time in the rain, sleet, and mud. In 95, I helped tow your moving trailer. In 05, I helped you get out of a ditch. Yeah, I know I'm a bit rusty, and sadly in 09, it was sparks from me, your handy chains, dragging behind your truck that accidentally started a wildfire.
Sparks from dragging chains can start a wildfire. Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
All right, everybody in the car. Let's go.
What are we gonna do first when we get there, Mom? Go for a hike?
Sure, if you want.
What about canoeing? Can we go canoeing too?
I don't see why.
What about a bike ride? No, I want to fish.
Okay.
I've never been fishing.
Honey, we can do it all.
How long does it take to get to the forest?
It's not.
Is it gonna be long?
No, sweetie.
I bet it takes forever.
It's not that far.
Are we there yet?
Yep, we're here.
Already? No way. Come on.
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a neighborhood park or green space near you. Also, find fun activities to do like boating and biking or camping and hiking, plus much more. It's all right in your naturehood. A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
Welcome back, Central Texas. You're listening to Law Talk, final segment of the day. Before I turn the mic over to Shane Currington. Shane, have you come up with anything new that you're going to talk about during Weekend Logic?
Well, I have a total stack. If you look on our social media live feed, I have an entire stack of stuff to go through. We'll talk about the Roger Stone thing. We'll talk about Biden and Bernie Sanders Unity Task Force. We have just a slew of stuff to talk about this morning. Not to mention Whitmer and her new business coronavirus, rules, and Trump is talking about defunding schools because of their left-wing bias. There's a ton of stuff to talk about this morning that came out yesterday in the news. So. Just listen up after Law Talk at 10 a.m. on our live feed at logicnation.us as well as social media, and you'll be filled in on everything that happened this week as well as what to look out for the next week.
All right. That'll be interesting to hear. And did you give everybody all the places they can find you at 10:05?
Well, it's the same place as Law Talk. It's logicnation.us. We have a live stream on our website, and then we have Facebook, YouTube, and Vimeo at Logic Nation Radio, and Twitter and Periscope at Logic Nation USA. And incidentally, if you want to call in and talk on the phone, our phone number is 866-895-6442.
All right. That sounds like a great show you're going to have, so I hope you have a good time there.
Yep.
All right. Well, I've only got about 7 minutes or so left, or 8 minutes, maybe something like that, before we have to take a hard break. I want to take the remaining time that I have. I think I've got enough time to cover this in regard to leases, landlords, and COVID-19. And this is also, I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the laws in regard to with realtors and what they can and can't do as far as showing a property or something like that. And this, as you can imagine, every business is causing some very big issues in regard to COVID-19. The pandemic has caused Texas realtors an unprecedented impact and uncertainty for tenants and landlords. And I found a great article that provides many answers to some of the questions that I've been wondering about, and you may very well too, in regard to rental properties and the COVID-19 pandemic. And the first question is, does a tenant still need to pay rent during COVID-19? The answer is, of course, yes. There have been no laws passed or decrees that freeze rental payments. Tenants are still contractually obligated to make rent payments according to the terms of their lease. So, again, if you're a landlord out there, your tenant is still required to pay that rent. If you want to give them, some extra time to pay it, that's up to you. But contractually, the lease is what the lease is. It's the same with a car payment. It's the same with a house payment or any other debt that you may have. That can still be enforced. Another question, if the tenant's unable to pay his rent during this time, what are some of the options as a landlord? Well, you can set up a payment plan. You can let them pay it out weekly if you want to, if you're so of the mind to do that. You can waive rent for a month if you'd like, or waive part of the rent, or have a rental forbearance for tenants who are facing financial difficulties due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The COVID-19 lease payment plan agreement, which is an agreement that has been promulgated by Texas Realtors, allows tenants who are facing difficulties financially to have an agreement signed with their landlord regarding that rent payment to ensure that they're not found in violation of their lease agreement. Proof of a financial hardship is required, and it'll be up to the landlord whether the proof offered by the tenant is sufficient. The landlord's acceptance of that lease payment plan agreement does not amend the lease. It does not waive any of the landlord's rights to enforce the lease against the tenant. And also, a landlord is under no obligation legally to enter into any kind of a payment plan or modification of the lease if they're not so inclined to do that. Another question I've been asked, have residential evictions been put on hold due to coronavirus? Well, initially when this pandemic started, the Texas Supreme Court did order a halt to eviction proceedings. However, that has stopped, and the Supreme Court specifically ruled and gave an order that residential evictions can presume and were able to resume on May the 19th of this year, and writs of possession to be posted on properties beginning May the 26th. Even though residential evictions can resume on May the 19th, there is now a sworn statement that the property is not subject to the moratorium on evictions imposed by the CARES Act. The CARES Act was a law passed by the federal government which prohibits landlords of properties that participate in housing programs by the federal government to be able to proceed with an eviction. So if the landlord is participating in the CARES Act, then they cannot evict on the grounds that the person has not paid the rent. Now, they can proceed to evict on other grounds, like the tenant is committing criminal acts on the property, the tenant is being destructive or damaging to the property, that the tenant is allowing unauthorized people that are not on the lease to enter and stay at the location. And so, again, Sharon and I have some rental property, and there have been some tenants that were not able to pay the rent or just didn't, depending on their circumstance. And initially, I did not file the evictions because the Supreme Court told me I couldn't. However, since then, I've had to file 2 separate evictions, and have had to go back and ask for a writ of possession when the tenants did not voluntarily move out of the property. So, again, if a tenant's a part of a CARES Act covered property, the tenant is not even required to provide proof of financial hardship for the temporary moratorium on evictions to apply. So through July the 24th, today's the 11th, so 13 more days, the moratorium on filing evictions for non-payment only, not other reasons like I mentioned a moment ago, is not conditioned on proof that they've had financial hardship. And a tenant can request an accommodation to not allow viewings under the ADA and Fair Housing Act requirement if the tenant is a member of the community of higher risk or developing severe illness due to COVID-19. So let's say you've got somebody that has given you a 30-day notice to vacate. You're allowed as a landlord, of course, to go in and show the property to a future or new tenant. And again, if that tenant is a member of higher risk of developing severe illness, they're over the age of 60, they have diabetes, they have COPD, they have some of these illnesses that can cause them to get sick a lot easier and become sicker than the average person, then you can ask them not to show the property before you move out of the property. All right. Well, I had a couple more to talk about, but I'm out of time. So with that, thanks for the listeners that listened today, today's show, the callers that called in. And stay tuned for the personal wealth coach on KTM. And also stay tuned to Shane on Weekend Logic.
No word in English language is less convincing than probably.
Are you sure we should get matching tattoos on our first date?
Sure. We'll probably stay together.
Probably? It's been 23 minutes since I ate. I can probably swim.
You should wait 30 minutes.
Okay, now tell me what to do. Cannonball! Cramp! Oh, I have a cramp.
I can probably hit the green from here.
Probably.
Can I get a mulligan?
Ready to go?
Hey, are you sure you're okay to drive?
Yeah, I'm pretty sober. Yeah, I'm probably okay.
Probably okay isn't okay, especially when it comes to drinking and driving. If you're drinking, call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Sweet strawberry icing. You were strolling along in goodwill when just past that mid-century side table and denim jacket you spotted them, nestled in their display case. Miniature donut earrings. Oh, yes! Yes! Your favorite half-breakfast pastry, half-all-day dessert food, made into your favorite form of ear candy. Oh my. Those bejeweled sprinkles have satisfied some unknown hunger within you. Shh, do you smell that? That's the sugary scent of shopping success. For this is Goodwill. And with every item you buy, you fund local job training and more. So go forth. Bring home those donut earrings. And bring home so much good to your community. Goodwill. Bring good home. Brought to you by Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Just remember she said that to me. Oh yeah, don't take her love from my arms. Don't leave me now, for her love belongs to was making for the trades on the outside, and the downhill run to Papa A. Off the wind on this heavy line of the Marquesas, we got 80 feet of a water line, nicely making way in a noisy bar in Avalon. Tried to call you, but on the midnight watch I realized why twice you ran away. Think about how many times I've had falling. Spirits are using me, Lord, your voice is calling. What heaven brought you and me cannot be forgotten. I have been around the world, looking for that woman girl who knows love can endure, and you know it will. When you see the Southern Cross for the first time, you understand now why you came this way. 'Cause the truth you might be running from is so small, but it's as big as the promise of a coming day. So I'm sailing for tomorrow, my dreams are dying, and my love is an anchor tied to you, tied with a silver chain. I have my ship